with this financial freedom chat. And we're talking a little bit more about personal finances. Today's video will be really short. It's the 6 steps to financial freedom. Now, you don't have to do these in order necessarily. You could do things that are a little different than this, but in my opinion, these are the 6 essential steps and the best order to reaching financial freedom. It includes things considering like your protection and safety, a little bit of a safety net, also kind of knocking out the worst things first and moving toward better things later. And so I've kind of drawn this from a couple different resources, different financial advisors and money managers, and kind of made a conglomerate of what I think is the best way to do these things in order. So the first one would be make a budget. And this is going to be the next video. I think probably the most important video out of all of this is make a budget. Most people do not make a budget. And when you don't have a budget, you spend in categories way more than you mean to. You neglect other categories. And ultimately, you just don't know where your money's going. You don't really have control over your money. Your money has control over you. And so making a budget gives you the opportunity to mindfully plan where your money's going and why. And in all reality, I've experienced this, a lot of other people have experienced this, you will feel like you have more money. You will feel freedom to spend money in the categories because you've planned for it. So that's step number 1, is make a budget. The second is to create a small emergency fund. Now, even if you've got debts and things like that, I think it's really important to have a small emergency fund to start right after you've made a budget. This should just cover immediate emergencies, something small, nothing huge. All right. That might look different for every person. I would say in general, it should be less than 1 month's salary. It should be able to cover, a small breakdown, a needed fix or something like that. So that would be step number 2, is create a small emergency fund, and you can kind of feel out what that looks like for you. The third is to start paying off your debt. Now, this step can sometimes take the longest. It depends on your circumstance. Maybe you don't have any debt and you can just skip this step. That'd be great. But a lot of people have debt in different areas, and we'll get more into debt and how to pay off debt well, but that would be the third step. Generally, what I would encourage you do is you pay off either the smallest debt or the debt that has the highest interest rate. Now, I know in Tunisia, a lot of people say, oh, loans don't have interest rates, or banks don't give loans with interest. That's not actually true. They do. You could work it out of the math. In math, you could see what the interest rate is. A lot of times it's actually still really high. But essentially, that would be one of the main factors. There's a little bit of a strategy to that. I think usually going after the smallest debts is sometimes the best, because what happens is you can pay that off and snowball that into other debts. So that would be step 3, is pay off debts. And like I said, probably the longest step for some people. Step 4 is add to your emergency fund. So once you have your debt getting paid off, and this doesn't have to be done after you've paid off your debt, maybe somewhere in between would be okay, but having an emergency fund of 1 to 3 months of your monthly expenses. So I would kind of look at what you already have a budget, make sure it's accurate, and then try to save up to cover 1 to 3 months. What this is essentially protection from really big disasters or events. If you get laid off or something bad in the economy happens, you really need to take care of a family member, something like that. That 1 to 3 month cushion helps you out a ton. It gives you peace of mind. It helps you sleep better at night because you've got a safety net, and it kind of moves with you. After you have your 1 to 3 months of savings for emergencies, right? And emergencies, going out to take your girlfriend on a date is not an emergency, right? Then you begin investing. So step number 5 is begin investing. And I recommend shoot to invest 15 to 20% of your income. If you can do that, if you can budget toward that, and we'll talk about budget, like I said, in the next video, I would shoot to invest 15 to 20% of your income. That will set you up well for life if you are taking that much out and investing it. So investing is step number 5. The 6th step is to continue to build wealth and to give. Now, giving, I would say giving should be from day 1, even if you're in debt. I think giving is a good thing. I have personal convictions on how I should give. I think every party might feel differently about what they're comfortable with, what they feel like they should give, and how they give. But in the sixth stage of your life, I think giving should be a big part of it. Continuing to build wealth and give. And a big part of giving, in my opinion, I think that God blesses us to be a blessing. I think that when we hoard and when we only gather for ourselves, or we look really inward, a lot of times life is just harder. I don't think God really blesses that. But if we are looking for opportunities to bless others, I think God continues to provide for us and blesses us. So those would be the main 6 steps. I'll go over them again really quickly. Make a budget, create a small emergency fund, pay off debt, add to your emergency fund, make it 1 to 3 months of expenses, invest 15 to 20% of your income, or start investing, and then finally continue to build wealth and give. So that's it for this video. I hope this was helpful. The next video will be about your budget.